Done.
Thank you. All right, so it is the 23rd of January. There's my loud cat. Excuse me. Go away. Ouch. Sorry, y'all. He will not stop hollering if I don't get rid of him. He pushed the door open. Sorry. Okay, so 23rd of January, we are going to jump right into our presentation. So let me share my screen and get you guys all here. Woohoo. So week 3, hopefully you guys have picked up on a couple of things with what we're working on. So congratulations to making it to week 3. If you're watching this after the fact or listening to this after the fact, you're still there, whether you made it onto the call tonight or not. So don't be discouraged if life happens and you can't make it on an actual call at the time. The important part is to still do the work and still stay in touch on the group, and then reach out to your recruiter and or director and for any help or questions, or post it out there for us. So we already did this shout. What have you learned so far? So I'm hoping what you're catching on to is that belief decides what you can and cannot do, and you can, in fact, retrain your brain. Product knowledge helps you maximize your sales and bookings. I've heard several people commented back about taking their catalog and carrying it around with them and studying on it and learning more about your products. I think that is fantastic. Talking to people out and about and at all of your parties gets bookings. Mary talked about that numerous times last week when her presentation. She did such a good job. Sharing your passion can influence those you reach with your business. So today we're going to discuss everyone's favorite topic, right? House coaching. Yay! Raise your hands if it scares you to death. Anybody? Anybody honest enough to admit that it scares them to death?
Me.
Okay, I got a couple hands and a couple shaky hands. All right, so we're going to keep going. It should not be something that scares you. It's just a matter of learning how to do it with what's comfortable for you. We want to work smarter, not harder. I thought that was so cute with that little skateboard. Host coaching is where you earn your paycheck. At your show is where you pick it up. Most of these are phrases you've heard before. It's nothing new, but you do have to believe that to be true. So what does coaching mean? Okay, coaching means, notice the key word in here. I just took one and got a highlight of it, not the whole actual definition. Some of them had 4 or 5 definitions, but note the key words in here. Helping others achieve their goals through training and teaching, helping them to reach their full potential. And later it talks about to manage life changes and blah, 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 blah. So helping others achieve goals through training and teaching and helping them achieve their full potential. We can do that, right? So start at the booking. There's no right or wrong to host coach unless you do nothing. Now, okay, now keep in mind, there is a total wrong way if you're rude, if you're not prepared, if you're not nice. I'm not talking about that. We're professionals. We're business owners. If you go about that with your proper tools and your proper manners, you can do this however it's comfortable for you. My way of saying there's nothing right or wrong means just because I do it one way and Donna does it another and Mary does it another does not mean one of us is right or the other is wrong. That's where I'm going with that. Ask them questions. So this is at the booking when you're making, whether you're out and about, whether you're at a show, doesn't matter. Would 2 or 3 catalogs work best for you? Let them answer. Oh, I don't really want catalogs. I usually say I would like to have you at least have one so that if anybody has any questions, you have a way to look it up. But ask them what they would like. That also saves you. If they only want 2, you don't have to give them 4, right? Because it's all about costs, so there you go. Or there's people who sit there and go, oh no, we'll do it all online. And then that's when I make them have at least the one. I try to at least have them do the one so they have their reference. And that's fine. We'll do it online. Order forms. There are numerous ways to get order forms to your hosts. I didn't want to go through all of those. Most of you know how to do that, I'm assuming, because you're in business. Email, print them yourselves, have them print them. They can do it online. So just discuss that with them so you know. What I do is I email them an order form that they can print. That way they can make as many copies as they need, but I have to make sure they can print at home. If they can't, I print off 5 and get them 5. Just an easy number because they can go make copies wherever. Tell them to invite everyone that eats. Now, we've all heard before, back and forth, several times, if not dozens of times, how many people you have to invite. For virtual shows, it's different than regular shows. 40 invites means that 20 say yes, which means 10 to 15 show up, 10 outside orders, blah, blah, blah. So there's all these different ways you can break it down. It's not, however you want to describe that is fine. I do want you to think and be mindful of how your host and your conversation has already started going. If there's somebody who's already talking about, I don't know people, don't turn around and say you have to invite 40 people. They will gloss over and be like, I can't do this. If you sit there and joke with them and tell them, invite everyone that eats, well, y'all, that's everybody. Everybody has to eat. You die if you don't. So invite everyone that eats. You can also sit there and tell them 10 to 15 orders or 14 to 18 orders or however you want to break that down gets you a really good shopping spree. I usually say 14 to 18 orders is a great shopping spree. Again, feel out your host and figure out how she responds so you know how to do that. Ask them, do you want physical invitations, email invitations, or a combination? Some people still absolutely love that postcard in hand. Some people have nothing to do with putting anything in the snail mail. They probably don't even know what a stamp is. You have to ask again and feel out your hostess. I don't feel like there's any one package that works for everybody anymore. I used to mail invites out for my hosts and ask for the address list, and people weren't looking at them. I'd get them back or get them closed, and they'd hand it back to you. Or so it just, again, kind of feel out. If somebody still really wants to do that, you can do that. I want to make sure we're able to communicate so I can help you best. Which is the best way for you? Phone call, text message, instant messenger, email, and let them respond. When they do that, you can joke. Now, you promise that if you're going to answer my text messages when you get it, right? And that's just kind of gets them on the, yeah, of course. Because then they can't sit there and go, well, I didn't recognize your call. You know, they gotcha. You got them. Now, from here on, you have the booking, they have their information, you know how to communicate with them. Then that is everything now. Then the communication is the biggest part. The biggest complaint you'll ever get is they don't know what to do next. So here's where you need to be organized and you need to have a system that works for you. If you want to, you can use Mary's drawing slip. Put this label right here on the back of it. If you guys are interested, I'll post that. It's a very simple label. It's a 2x4. It's a publisher document. You can change and manipulate what it says. Super easy to do. But what I do is I put it on the back of my drawing slips. I am one of those people. I have a calendar that's electronic that is our family calendar, but otherwise I have a big 8.5 by 11 calendar, and I have those drawing slips, and on the back of those drawing slips I have those labels. That walks me through just about everything I need, unless I've forgotten something, I'll write it in, that I need to keep in contact with that host. Those get paper clipped into my calendar for the month that they are active for, just like the current, like January, February, March. Past that, they go in a tickler box, which I'll show you in just a second. If they don't want to be contacted by phone, I scratch out the word phone and I write how they want to have contact, cell, private messenger, email, whatever it happens to be, and that tells me how they want to be contacted. Now, mailing the packet, if I hand it to them, I'm still going to check it off. They have their packet. If I do it all email, I check it off. They have their packet, however it happens to be. Website setup is our shows on Consultants Corner. I do an Evernote email that I send out to them with all of their information in one location. That's my email that's sent. If I mail invites, I check it off. If I've already talked to them about that, I'll write in how they want to do it, check it off. Facebook event or group, whichever you want to do. Once I've created it, I check it off. So you kind of see where this is going. Receipts, meaning I've got them a sales order form. It's just easier. I had receipts in there, so that's what that was. And then later after the show, I hand make thank you cards for my hosts, and they have stamps, food stamps, paper chef stamps, things like that that are in there. And once I send them a thank you card, then I check that off. So this does not get filed. until I have done their thank you card, because otherwise I will forget. I also have a space where you can write down the recipes. If you track mileage by your odometers, then you can put that on there. You don't have to do odometer readings for Texas. If you want to know how to do it otherwise, message me later. That's not what this is about tonight, but there is a way of doing that. And then any call histories or notes goes in that. You also have the rest of that drawing slip. That's only a 2x4 label. So you still have the back of the other part of the drawing slip, plus any other notes you took on the front of that drawing slip when you talk to them as well. So that's like a little chapter of their lives in your hands in that piece of paper. So regardless of how you do it, you need a system. If you don't remember when to follow up, you're in trouble. Tickler box. That's not a tickler box. Nope, that's not organized. That's not it. So this is a tickler box, and actually I'm only going to touch on it very, very slightly. Mary is going to later in a couple weeks talk about organizing systems, and this is one of the ones that she uses as well. So these are the same box. You can see the drawing slips fit just fine right inside there. There's different size ones you can do. There's 5x7s, there's 3x5s, whatever you want to do. Each month there's a tab for each month, and then there's the full calendar days. So you can divide them up to the days. Now there's multiple ways you can do this. One of two ways is to make it just business and just your drawing slips. But every day that you have to contact, you put them behind that number, and then that day you pick them out and you call them. So for example, today's the 23rd. I made a phone call today and she wants me to follow up with her next week on Tuesday. I find the date for next Tuesday, which would be the 29th. I put her drawing slip behind the 29th. That way when I open it up on the 29th, I pull out all my slips. I'm like, oh yeah, she wanted me to call her back today. Cool. And I go ahead and do that. Another way is to use this for everything in your life. Doctor's appointments, kids' appointments, school appointments, anything you have to do. Hey, I need to call the water company and turn off my water because I'm going to be gone for 2 months to Florida. However you want to do those things, you can also put those in there as well. So that's just what the tickler is, and you can organize it how best works for you. And again, Mary's going to go over that down the road in more detail, but this is just, again, smarter, not harder. So why a system? If you have a good system, your party is going to be fun. There's going to have great sales, bookings, and repeat hosts. Because you've got the host involved, she has a vested interest in this now. She's been working with you to make it work out the best for her, and it works best for you as well. If you're not organized and you have just an okay, mediocre system, you could still have fun. Don't get me wrong. Not going to have the same amount of sales, maybe a booking, and maybe a repeat host. You want that host to think you just had the best time in the world. It was so easy. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to do it again because I got so many products. That is somebody who's organized and has a good system. Makes them feel like you take your business seriously, and it attracts more business. You ever seen people who said, and then you probably have seen it through somebody, when you open up your calendar and it's a full calendar, they're excited to squeeze in wherever they can because a full calendar makes you look like you're really busy and in demand. Same kind of thing. When you're organized and you have it going down, it attracts more business. We're all about more business. Again, smarter, not harder. So here's a fun little example. Shaquille O'Neal. Now he's blindfolded and he's at the free throw line. He can probably make this shot, but could you? Do you want to shoot blind for your business? Everybody should be shaking their head no, of course not. So if I told you that Shaq could take that out of your hands and go take it to the hoop for you, ignore the fact that he's 7'1" and it's only a 10-foot goal, because that make it a really easy shot. But he's also practiced and practiced and practiced and perfected his art. He is a professional basketball player. He's using his God-given talents to do the best of his abilities. So that's exactly what we're asking you to do. Use your God-given talents, take the ball from your host, and help them slam dunk. So what do you cover when you contact your hosts? I'm a Dwayne Johnson fanatic. I found that and just had to include it, just in case y'all want to know. When you're talking to your host, you ask them, did you get your packet? How many invitations were you able to send out or hand out? You need to ask that because if they go, oh, well, so far I've invited the 4 people I work with, You need to be able to encourage them and coach them. Like, you're going to have to ask a whole lot more people than that. How about people at your hairdresser, at the post office, that kind of thing. Start talking to your husband's friends that, could come too. However it works. Stretch out and find out what they've done. What I usually coach and say, when you get a no, what I would like you to reply with is, I'm so sorry to hear that. What can we order for you? How different is that then? Would you like to place an order? And if I ask you, would you like to place an order? You have such an easy way to go, no, I'm good. If you say, I'm so sorry you can't come, what can I order for you? It's a harder way to come back and go, no, I'm good. Well, let me look at a catalog and I'll get back to you. Or however it works out. But you're still giving them the idea and permission to shop. And it's not a manipulation thing, it's just a wording thing. You can offer an incentive. If you have 15 people there, I'll bring ingredients for the meal. If you get 15 people there, I will bring a free dessert. That's entirely up to you, but sometimes people, as you talk to your host, you realize that works for them, and the little nuggets are out there, grab it, take it, and run. And ingredients for a s'mores cake is like $5. If you've not made that s'mores cake in the rock crock, your homework is to make one. Do you have any questions on your order forms, on your outside orders? Can I help you total them? That, again, is a better way of asking than going, so do you have any outside orders yet? Because that just sounds kind of pushy needy. Do you have any questions on your outside orders you've gotten so far? But if they say, well, I haven't gotten any yet, you say, that's fine. Just keep working on that. Anybody who can't come, make sure you remember to ask them, and tell them you're sorry they can't come, and what can I order for you? And it kind of works back into each other. What are you most excited to get for free? Or what is on your wish list? What are you excited about getting? Or what are you working for? You ask them what they want to do. And then ask them, this is a new one for me, and I'm working it out and trying it. I've heard a couple of people talk about it. I want you to think of 5 of your guests that would be amazing hosts. I'll make my own list, and we can compare after the show. If you book them prior to the party, I'll give you blank. Extra $10 in free products. Something like that. You don't even have to give an incentive, but it's worth it to try. Truth be told, if we could buy bookings, we would all do it. $5 for every booking, who wouldn't say yes at least once or twice? The other thing to drop in there is watch what you do, because it's the easiest to try business, and I'd love to find out what questions you have. That does not say you're trying to sign them up. That's asking what questions they have about the business. And if they start having this ding on them and start thinking about it, they're going to have questions. So that's a way of saying, I'd love to have you on my team, or I'd love to have you sign up without being like, do you want to sign up? You want to be on my team? This is the easiest to business. Just watch what I do. I'd love to find out what questions you have. Make it fit your wording too. This is your show for you. All right, resources. There are a ton of resources out there, y'all. Look at them. Work with them. If you haven't done some of these, I encourage you to go do it. Create a dummy show that you have the host username and password on, so that you can go in as a host and see what they're looking at. I would keep that going and change the date on it year round. Every month I switch it to the next month, and I just sit there and have that, so I can go in as a host. If you get somebody who goes, well, I just logged in, but I don't see my shows. Do you know how to walk them in to find it? I'm on the dashboard and I don't see any orders. Do you know how to talk them through that? By having that dummy show out there, you can walk into it yourself and go, okay, specifically on the left-hand side, the third line down, it says blah, blah, blah. And you can walk them through that. The host dashboard also allows them to email their guests directly and put their wish list in and several other factors, see their grocery lists. It is a wonderful tool that not many people get on and use. So if you can get them there and you know how to work it, great. Some won't. Some don't want to do that whole thing. They would rather just stick to their catalog. That's fine. But those ones who do, man, they can fill out their whole cart, put in their payment, send it to you, tell you they're done. You get an email saying you've got a happy host. You go in, double check everything, make sure they got all their freebies, hit submit, you're done. It is beautiful. Learn your dashboard. Marketing imagery. They spend a ton of time and resources, they being home office, giving us all these images that we can use all over the place. Learning which ones work where is very important. PDFs cannot be posted on Facebook. It's obnoxious. However, you can do the other ones. They've got posts that are set out there for a cover shot picture or a post. They're also known as PNG, portable graphics. And so a PNG file can be used. And what I do is I save those onto my phone and to my computer with the host and the guest specials. Yes, I send it to them originally when we first start talking about booking the show, but I have so many people who ask me again, what was that again? What was that host special again? What is the guest special? Or they're out taking an order from somebody and they go, what is that guest special again? And I can pull that up in a text and send it to them either through private message on Facebook, or I can message it in a text. So either way, I have those on hand to send to them at any point in time. I love to say that everybody reads everything up front and remembers it all and never needs to ask the question again. But y'all, we all know that's so not true. So have that handy. Also, they're great, beautiful texts for posting in your groups or events when you're doing parties. Pampered Chef University has a whole section on host coaching. At least go through that once, if not more than once. There's a ton of information, and I don't think you can absorb all of it on the first round. Find apps that help you. I mentioned Evernote. Evernote is one where I send an email to my host with everything in it. That's what the Evernote app looks like, the little green elephant. It's a great program to save files, send things to people that have links and files attached. I'm not going into that. That's something for you to do on your own, but it is something that is a great template to use for each host, each month, etc. Another app that I love to use is Canva. It's very easy to use on your phone or your computer. It saves it on their system, not yours, and you can pull it from either source, wherever you happen to be. And it's real super quick. They've got a ton of templates, and their templates are Instagram, Snapchat. I think Snapchat's on there. I know Twitter's on there. I know Facebook, etc. It has templates for sizes measured out already to be a perfect graphic for whatever you're going to post it to. So I go into Facebook and I pull up a Facebook post. You can add your own pictures or use theirs, and they have word templates. So I just come up with something super simple like this. You are invited to Charity's Pampered Chef Party, and it has the date, the address, and my website on there. And if anything else you can think of, you can add to it also. But that is something that you can then text or message to your host, and they can use that as an invite to send out. You can also put the Facebook page link on there as well. If you want to have them be able to go to Facebook and reply, or however you want to do it, you can put the information on there as much as you want. Postable, textable images that your host can send to people is definitely where things are going for most people. Not everybody, but the most. And so this is just another example. And the Canva, the little purpley blue C, is the logo for that if you're trying to look for it in your, what's the word I want? Play Store market thingy. All right. So how do you get good at all of this? Practice, training, learning, experience, all of those. So keep working your contacts and bookings. Again, once you start doing it, get into a habit of doing it regularly, because they're not going to all say yes at the same time. And some of the no's might be not nows. Some of the yeses might be laters. One of the laters might turn into now. You get the idea. I want you to post on this group your system for host coaching. Not like whole big long details, but like, oh, I use a ticker box, or I use the 3-ring binder, or however you want to explain it. Listen to Host Coaching with Lisa Noto and Michael Yoakley, and the directions are there. If you want to, take a picture of the screen. It's Pampered Chef University, then Host Coaching, then Peer Sharing, and it's called Help Hosts Max Their Shows. Michael Yoakley is my upline director. He's amazing, and that is a fantastic call. Anybody else need that? If you guys need this after the fact, let me know. All right, so host coaching is a partnership. Not only is your host going to get great benefits, you're investing into somebody else. This is a service industry. This is a service-based industry. If you don't service your customers and help them feel like they've had a great experience, they probably aren't coming back. And we don't want that to happen. So invest into somebody else. The benefits will return to you tenfold. Okay. And there are multiple benefits. Not only is it because you make a paycheck, it's because you might have earned a friend. You might even have found a friend for life. I had a lady who came up to me this last spring, so almost a year ago now. She came and found me at a vendor event because she got invited to it, and I was around the corner from her house. I had not seen her in a couple of years. She came up to tell me that she wanted to do a fundraiser, but she had just started cancer treatments and wanted me to know so I could be praying for her. And then once she got done with that, she wanted to do a fundraiser. Those are the relationships we get to build in this industry that are amazing. So focus on coaching them to success, and your success will come with it. Focus on it that way versus, oh, I need to coach. I need to remember to host coach. Wrong perspective, wrong reward. If you go, oh, I need to focus on my customer with host coaching and my business will come along, it's much better than going, oh, I need to focus on my business succeeding and, oh, yeah, I have to host coach too. You see what I'm saying? Just, again, a wording switch. All right, if you have questions, I know that was a ton of info and it comes fast. Unmute yourself as you need. Ask questions. Go for it.
Hi, this is
That was-
Mary. Put Mary's drawing slip in the files.
It is. We posted it there last Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
If you can't find it for some reason, then tag Mary or I on a post and we'll find it for you.
Okay, thank you.
It's probably because it was only last week. You can probably even scroll through and find right where we put it in.
Kara, do you want to go back 2 slides so that they can copy the Michael Yoakley?
Yep, do that.
It was another great evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. I hear someone taking pictures. Chink.
That was me.
That's a real camera sound. I haven't heard a real camera sound in years.
It's an Apple. What can I see? It's a MacBook.
Oh, well. I won't hold that again.
Ah, okay.
Anybody else? Questions? You guys soaked it all in that fast?
So where are all of you guys with host coaching? Are you doing it? Are you, is it that you don't feel comfortable with it, or where is everybody with that? Just jump in. Oh, you guys have to unmute to respond.
I find.
I
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, because I left and I came back. But I find that it's really tough to get people to be coachable. But I do think that the key is finding their best way, not necessarily your best way, in contacting them. So if it's through emails, successive emails, that's how they want to be contacted, then that's what I do. Or, texting or calling. I find, nailing that down in the very beginning is one of the key coaching things for me, because I find when I don't, then it's so piecemeal that it's hard to coach somebody that is all over the place. So
learn their language. Learn how to talk to them in ways that'll help bring them along, not push them, towards it. You know what I mean?
Right.
By asking, I mentioned a couple of examples, but definitely by asking how they want to be contacted, and they go, okay, so this is what it's going to look like when I contact you. You're going to answer, right? It's not like being pushy or weird by saying that. It's kind of joking. Like, right. I don't answer phone calls if I don't know the number of the phone. You know what? The telemarketers have figured out how to make their numbers look like local numbers. So I don't answer every local number anymore.
So I do try to make sure I say it multiple times that now you do have my phone number in as Pampered Chef Lady Deb, right?
Yeah.
So that, when I call you, it will come up as that and you'll know it's me.
Right.
So, I will reiterate that multiple times to those that say, oh, just text me or just call me.
Right.
And so that's what I find is key. I don't get
Now, I
that.
will also add to that, get multiple sources to get a hold of them, because you should have their address, their phone number, and their email. But that way you have another way of, hey, I've been texting you and I don't think you're getting it, and you can email them that or something, in case you do have somebody who ends up having a phone problem or something.
Right.
So, all right, anybody else?
I use the host coaching checklist that's provided right on the Consultant Connection.
Okay,
And then
perfect.
I just keep them in order in a binder. And then if I have multiple shows going, I just flip to the page that I'm working on yet, where I still need to complete all my information and phone calls and everything.
Great.
This is the form that I use. I don't know if I can get it in close enough for you guys to see. This was originally posted on Pampered Chef. This is from when I first started the business 16 years ago. But basically what they do is they go through, your contact information across the top, and then it made space for your 3 calls. And your first call date, your second call date, your third call date, and then it provided you space for comments and for the recipe you were doing and everything else. So I use those for all of mine, and that's how I track. And I leave little messages for myself on what I've done, when I sent out the kit, if I sent it out, when I did anything, and that way I keep track of my host coaching.
Yeah, I don't think that's that different from the checklist that Barb was talking about. They've kind of morphed it a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different format. Otherwise, they have the same information pretty much on it. Yeah.
And I think I know the one that you're talking about from Consultant's Corner. And the reason I stuck with this one is because it's 1 page. I think the one that you've got is 2 pages. So,
Yeah, I just print them front and back. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I'll share another little thing that I do, and I'm just one of those really anal people. I've just got to keep things. So whenever I start a show for the consultant for a business, I start a yellow folder, and you can see that there's a bunch of scratch outs. I just keep reusing these folders over and over and over. And this folder goes with that hostess from the minute I book her show to the minute I close her show. And inside, there's that slip I was talking about. And then, my notes are all over it. But then I also have things in here like the directions to her house. And then there are my green slips. And when I am actively at her show, what I do is the sales slips that I have, if they are on this side, so as I'm opening up the folder, if they're on this side, I know that it's a complete order. Everything is fine, in order. There is nothing wrong. That order is ready to be submitted. If it's on this side, it tells me that I need to deal with something. And what I tell guests at my shows is that the best way to communicate with me, other than speaking directly to me, is to put a message on the order form. So in this case, this gal wanted the recipes from the show that evening, and she also had booked a show, or is in the process of booking a show. So that's my red flag that tells me I need to deal with her. And then typically what I do is, these are all of the slips from the show, and once they are all completed, meaning everything that they've asked for on there is done, it goes over to this side because this is the completed side. And then at the end of the show, when and by the way, if they give me money at the show, if their payment is in a money or check, it's clipped right here. So everything for this show is all in one place. And I keep, if I see that I have a yellow folder, I know it's a show.
So I do something similar to that, but they've got these clear folders that are complete see-through, and what it does for me is I've got tabs, and I can put a little post-it note on each of the tabs with the host name on it, so that way I can just take it off and reuse it later. But I can also see through it, so when I have 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 of these on my desk, I can just shuffle through and see by looking at it which show it is. And then if I have one, like Mary said, that has an order that still has something to do, it stands up and sticks out versus laying down. If all the orders are done, complete, entered, I need nothing, they're all laying down sideways. If I have something that still needs to be addressed, then I put it up right? So I know to go look that up and deal with that as well. And that to me is just, I don't have a lot of space. My house is ridiculously small. So I need something where I can sit there and look through, and I can sit there and read the names off the top of the bat by looking at the slips or the tabs, and I know whose show it is to grab it quickly that way. Once it's done, it comes out of that folder. So again, come up with a system that works for you. Anybody else have a shout out or a comment on their system they'd like to add?
Kathy's got a folder. Let's see, Kathy.
Unmute yourself, hon.
Unmute yourself.
Very quiet.
I use the manila file folder for each show. So each host has the name information up at the top, address, and then anything pertaining to it goes in the folder, and then all my notes and everything go right outside, and then I keep one for each show. So if Mary Sue had a show 3 times that month, she has an individual file folder for each show.
Okay. Right.
Once mine go from the yellow folder, they go into a folder like yours, Kathy, and I save mine too, because then a year from now, what I do is I've got a tickler and I just pull, or actually after 30 days, after 6 months, and after a year, I just pull it and I've got it all in one place, and then I go through and I can do customer care from there.
Right.
So I do love me a folder.
I do too. All right, anybody else?
So can I ask you ladies, Mary, you mentioned the after the host is active, do you guys have like a separate file drawer or file cabinet that you kind of keep stuff for a certain amount of time? So
After the show is over?
Correct.
You're going to laugh at this. I've been in for 8 years. I don't think I've thrown any out yet. But all the reason being is every once in a while I have somebody who comes back. It's not a ton of paper. If you look at all of it, it's probably a stack that's only about a foot tall right now for 8 years. And I've done 600-700 shows. So it's not like it's, huge amounts of paperwork. But what happens is every once in a while somebody will contact me and say they were at such and such a show and they've got a problem with something. And if you can't find it in your computer, sometimes you can find it that way. Or they don't even give me enough information. I have to go figure out who they were. They left me a voicemail. It was vague, and I don't even have a last name, but they were at so-and-so show. I can go back and look through that way. There's all kinds of different ways that might come up. But my favorite reason is to go back through for customer care calls. If you have a host that does not get you all of their contact information for all their orders, sometimes they just don't. You have a way to go back and look that person up. If you don't have their phone number, you might have their address that way. Or, it just depends on how that went down. I know when I first started, if I got somebody who just had a name and an email, I put that in. If that email no longer works, I don't have a way of getting a hold of them. But I can go through and look through that if it's something I really need to do and find that host and maybe find them that way. There's all kinds of different reasons that pulls up. So I have not gotten rid of any of it yet. I make sure I cut off any credit card information and shred that so that's not sitting around. That way there's nothing private in that respect. But for me, I just think it's a good reason to go back every once in a while. You might even remember a note on an order, like they got us such and such a recipe, and it brings up another way. Hey, we've got this new product that makes that chicken soup much easier. Would you be interested? I mean, it just kind of opens up a way to do customer care calls.
For me, I've done over 1,200 shows, and so I don't know if you can see this or not. I've got a regular file system. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
You're goober organized.
And what I do is each one of my folders has the name and the number of the show. So I go by the number of the show. And that's how I know, if she was show, 1100 or whatever she was, then I can pull it from there. And I can cross-reference that to Consultant's Corner and where we have our shows listed. I also go back far enough that I still have Pampered Partner, because if you are old enough to have had Pampered Partner, not all of that information transferred over to the new system.
Nope.
So occasionally I will have somebody who comes back from the, like one of my first 10 shows or something, and so I can go back, I can find them, and they're often amazed when I can tell them what they bought in 2002.
Yep.
So But,
Mary, I agree. I mean, I started 20 years ago, and so I have everybody's show folder from day one. So absolutely, because you just never know.
Well, and I'm glad I kept everything, because when I had a computer crash, I lost P3 and I had a backup, but it would not load on my new computer. So it was one of those grandfathered in. It worked then, but now it doesn't. So I can't get to that. So yeah, I'm totally glad I have that. So if it turns into a ton of paper and you don't have the space, but even what Mary showed, probably would only be a couple of banker's boxes of files if you had to keep it at most. So, good idea to just kind of hang on without being ridiculously.
what I can tell you is that you can fit, for me, I believe it's almost 5 years into a banker's box. And so I keep those stored, but I keep active. The last year and a half to 2 years is what I keep active in my drawer, because those are the ones that are going to keep repeating and repeating.
Right.
A lot of the ones from the years before that are still dropping in, but they have new folders. If it's a repeat hostess, she has a new folder because she's done a show more recently. I don't resurrect also folder for her.
Keely, did that answer it for you, hon?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? I want to be sensitive to people's time. We're almost at 9. All right, we'll keep posting questions on the Facebook group. You guys, don't forget your homework. Listen to the coaching call. Post about your system. And then keep working on your contacts and bookings. Keep pushing for those 20 no's, because you're still not going to be able to do it.
Carol,
Mary,
what was our homework for this week?
What?
What was
Sorry?
our homework for this week?
Listen to the host coaching call with Lisa Noto and Michael Yoakley. Post on the group your host coaching system. And keep working on your contacts. Keep working for your 20 no's. You're asking why I was telling.
I already got 20 no's.
You got 20 no's?
Yep.
All right, you're the only one, because we asked at the beginning of the call and nobody could get that.
Oh, no, I did.
Okay. So I do want to.
Not too proud of it, but I did.
No, you know what? That brought me to something else I wanted to mention. I was going to post it on Facebook, but I'll mention it now. It is not the same as it used to be, where they said every 10 calls you'll finally get a yes. 10 no's and then a yes, 10 no's and then a yes. It's not quite the same, and it depends on the kind of show you're doing also, because of the way things have changed. So it's more like 15 to 20 no's to get your yes. So don't be discouraged. You still got your 20 no's, which means you're going to get a couple of yeses here eventually. So just keep working it. Keep doing your best. Stay out there. Keep working your numbers. And it'll come around. You did it. You got more answers than you had before, right? So, did you get any yeses or maybes or anything out of those?
Some maybes, but not yeses yet.
Okay. But you've got maybes, and some of those other ones may come back around at some point in time. So, you guys, great work. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Take care.
Mary, you have to hit stop record.